So you left your comfort zone, your city, your state, your country, to become an immigrant, a foreigner in a new land.
The question now is, how do you go from being a foreigner to being a friend? How do you make yourself visible? Hey, we're Chris and Jackie, and we're back with another episode of Aprende Más.
Hey.
Our learning series about small town San Miguel, outside of just what you see in the tourist videos. So really what we're kind of getting to today is cultural immersion. How do you become one of them?
Right.
How do you make friends? How do you become visible, as it were?
Immerse yourself into the culture.
I think one of the first ways that we need to kind of get on board with for sure is learning the language. We've been doing Duolingo. We've been picking up stuff here and there. But it's really difficult, I think, to learn the language without actually having someone teach you for real.
Yeah.
Duolingo is great.
It's very helpful.
But it's there to make money. It's slow, right? It's a subscription service. The more months that you run up that subscription service, the better for them. So you might be on Como Está for, 6 weeks.
Right.
Does it take you that long to learn Como Está? No, probably not.
No.
I guess I'm going to ask you and throw you under the bus. I'm going to throw her under the bus. That's my thing for today.
I'm comfortable there. It's been 25 years. Bus driver. Go on.
Why haven't we taken classes yet?
Because
is the answer.
Because we have not prioritized it.
Absolutely.
I mention it often.
As do I.
No, you don't.
All the time.
Man, you don't get... No, you don't. But I would like to do it as a couple. That's really my goal, is to do it as a couple. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's why I have not done it.
Right. But it's important, and I think one of those roadblocks you might run into is the fact that you can't be yourself without the language, right? Like there's things that you say, things that you do, how you communicate. In English, you can get all that just fine.
Yeah.
But when you're talking to somebody in Spanish and you're understanding the conversation and you want to say something in the way that you say it, but you don't have the words, like that's super frustrating.
Yeah.
And now I can empathize, I think, with other people who are trying to learn English.
Yeah.
And weren't being able to bring their full selves to the table because you can't communicate. You don't have the words at the end of the day.
Right.
And that can be very frustrating when you want to make that joke, you want to say that one-liner, and I have no idea.
Order that thing.
Right. And I have no idea how to do it, how to say it. And even if it even still makes sense in the new language, like, the thing that you might say all the time might be a colloquialism, might be a saying, might be some slang that just doesn't translate. And they're going to look at you, even if you knew the language.
Right.
Like, okay,
it won't translate.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So some of that stuff you even got to learn, okay, how do they say this thing in their language? What's their slang?
Because they have their own vernacular.
They do, for sure.
And what you think may be appropriate may not be appropriate, right?
Absolutely.
So like you would say something is hot. In Spanish, it's caliente. Well, here in San Miguel, in this area, part of the Mexico, you're not supposed to say that because that could mean that you're feeling a little frisky.
Yeah.
So they say, no, say calor, mucho calor, right? So it can be something just as simple, like it's a hot day. Like, you feeling frisky, right? So you don't know.
Like even when we went to the Mayan Baths and got a massage, we were like, the massage was muy rico. And she's like, no, rico is for food.
For food only.
Like what was going on in there was not rico, okay? This was just say it was good. It's okay. So even just simple stuff that you feel like you can be able to use anywhere,
right,
you got to be careful how you use it because it has its own, connotation.
That's true.
Like we even learned that Chi-Chi's, the old restaurant, the Tex-Mex restaurant, Chi-Chi's means breasts.
Yeah.
It's a slang for breasts. So like there's all this stuff you got to have to navigate and figure out.
But they have fun with us though.
Yeah.
They're not mean about it.
Yeah. Those things you probably have to learn through conversation more so than going to a class to learn. So there's, the structured learning as well as just being able to talk to people. You'll learn a little bit more about what to say, how to use it. But that's really a big part, I think, of getting into the culture and the immersion and being able to kind of meet and learn and meet people. And one that's the issue for you, I think, is the local music. You are not a fan of the music in, I would say, Latin America as a whole, but, Mexico, mariachi, Just things like
Spanish
cumbia, all that, you know, that's not your flavor. Why is that? You don't...
Is it not another bullet point we can go to?
No. And for those that don't know, we lost the footage on the first round of this, so we're rehashing this conversation to some extent.
You gotta tell our secrets.
So
no,
you hate mariachi. Just say it. Just say it. You hate Mexicans.
I don't care for Spanish music. It's not my favorite. And you know, after thoughtful consideration, it really just it has to be in a specific situation. So part of me wanted to get immersed into our culture and community, went and signed up for a dance class.
Yeah.
Right? So thinking I'm going to be in there with a lot of Mexicans and, you know, folks, you know, native people. And like, okay, yeah, now I can learn some more Spanish. I can meet new friends. Like, okay. And then I get in there, there's a lot of gringos, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, something that you've said before is it's situational. So all Spanish music isn't bad all the time, right? So in that environment, to learn the dances that go with that music fit.
Right.
And it was fine for me. Other than that, just that lack of drum, you know, those drums and the percussions, it's not palatable to me. I just don't care for it. And, you know, it's all the time too, you know, so it was just that it's morning, noon, and night. You get in the Uber, it doesn't matter what time of day, it doesn't matter what's going on. It's the same kind of music, you know, that mariachi. And I just don't like, it's not my cup of tea.
And if you judge it by the mariachi that kind of happens in the Jardín in front of the paroquia, like, again, Mexicans are hustlers. On a busy night, you might find 5 mariachi bands in the Jardín.
In different colors, the black band, the white band, the brown band, green,
all
and red.
Playing at the same time. And one band is enough to fill the entire Jardín with music. But if you get 5 going at 5 different times, they're doing 5 different songs.
That's right.
And they just happen to put together their band so they can make some money that night. And you got the bad singer. You got the guy on the trumpet who really don't know how to play trumpet that well. It's squeaking and squealing. It
needs to be fine-tuned, guys.
It's not fun.
Fine-tune that.
You know, it's a celebrational music. I get it. In the right environment, it's perfect. But when it's done poorly and on top of each other, it's no fun.
Yeah. And it also seems like there is no wind down. You know what I mean? So I remember growing up and we had that, how do you say it? I don't want to say it's eclectic. I don't know if it's eclectic. It's just how we grew up.
Yeah.
There's jazz, there's opera, there's country, there's, you know, hip hop, there's R&B. So it seems like we had a chance to experience different genres of music to fit different levels of life or ways or things that you were doing. You know, reggae, you know, just different music where you could set it and almost score your life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you're feeling sad, you want to put on some, you know, sad humdrummy music. Or if you're feeling up, you may put on some reggae, right? Some Bob Marley. So that's another thing too. It doesn't seem like there's enough, there's not enough mixture. You know what I mean? Variety in a way.
And I think some of that is our inexperience with cultural music in general, because there's, you know, reggaeton, which is the Spanish version of reggae. There's salsa, there's mariachi, there's cumbia. There's a lot of different variations of it. Yeah. That to our ears may all sound like the same. You know, particularly I like to listen to, you know, what the kids like nowadays is trap music. And to me, I'm like, hey, all that stuff sound the same. In the same way my parents said all that rap music sounds the same. Like,
and
if you're not,
understand it.
If you don't grow up and you're not culturally immersed in it, you may not know the variations and the difference between it when you hear it.
Right, that's true.
So some of that is just, you know, our inexperience. But I did want to kind of point to something that you said of like going to the dance classes. I think something that's important in cultural immersion is putting yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Right.
Don't be afraid to go out there. If you don't know all of the words you need to know, if you don't know the language you need to know, go out there and do it anyway. Just put yourself in that situation where you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. And a lot of times you'll find that there's somebody there that's going to help you and come to your rescue.
Yeah. Or laugh with you. Because let me tell you something here. What this nut will do, I mean, me, this nut, I will call something out wrong on purpose. Right? So, for example, getting my mani-pedi. The first couple of times I went, I didn't know the body parts and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just trying to immerse myself and have fun, break the tension, because there aren't a lot of Black women here, right? And they rubbing up all on my dogs, and they don't even call them dogs. Whereas in America, I don't know if it's a Black American thing or I don't know. But
it's a universal thing.
I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
So, my dogs are barking. And so I'm trying to, have a mani-pedi, and I'm letting them know, for my dogs, mi perros. And they're like, what? And I pointed down at my feet, like, mi perros. They cracked up laughing.
Or your salchichas for your toes. Those sausages. Yeah.
And I've gotten a massage, and I call my back or my giblets, I call them chicharron. And I mean, they crack up, so it's some of that too. I don't know, but what I am going to do is have some fun. I know.
And it forces you to get creative. Like, you only know a small set of words. Okay, how can I put these words together in a way that I can say what I'm trying to say?
Look, we were walking down the street, and you were saying, "Oh, we need to get some bleach," and I'm like, "Come on, so he said bleach in Spanish," and I'm like, "I don't know." And then I said, "Jugo blanco de jugo or white water." I don't know what I said. It's like, I don't know, but you're crazy, but we can laugh.
But it's not far. It's Blanqueador, I think is.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I wasn't far off.
Yeah, you're not far. There's some white in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I got bleach wrong. Correct me on what the bleach is.
But try.
That's it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with y'all. Enjoy a little bit of San Miguel scenery on our break, and we'll be right back. And we're back, Chris and Jackie, Aprende Más, and we're talking about cultural immersion.
How do you become a friend instead of a foreigner?
How do you become visible?
Yes.
How do you get seen?
Transition.
How do you get to be known?
Yeah.
One of those new things that we've been trying to do is get into the food.
Yeah.
Because we are foodies. We were chefs for 15 years. We're, plus size individuals.
I ain't plus size.
We enjoy a meal.
Cute size.
I have a Latin core. That means tacos and burritos around my gut.
Lord, so corny.
You like it. Thank you.
But the food helps you to transition.
Yes. So things like, I think for us was like fruits and vegetables and trying new things. Things like wheat lacoche, which is a corn fungus.
So we treat like a mushroom.
See. Mame, which tastes like sweet potato pie. Which is crazy. And there's different versions of mame. There's a mame sapote, which is that sort of sweet potato-y one. Then there's also a mame negro, which is supposed to taste like chocolate. It looks like chocolate pudding. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like, I don't know, mame.
Yeah. And you treat it almost like an avocado.
Yeah.
So when you open it up, there's a seed in the middle and the creamy flesh.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. And it's like, is that sweet potato? All you need is some cinnamon.
Some crust.
And a crust. You better say it. It's so wild. It's like, wow. You're learning about all these foods, right? But for me, it's been more fruit and more indigenous preparation.
Yeah.
Not
but necessarily I do want to mention
vegetables.
Cherimoya and Guanabana.
Sour
which is like, it has a custardy kind of feel to it. And if you can't pronounce Guanabana, for those that are old enough, you may remember the song from the Muppets, Mana Mana, doop doo 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 doo, Mana Mana, doop doo doo doo, Mana Mana. So when you look at the word, it looks like Guanabana, but it's actually Guanabana, like Mana Mana. Just a little fun fact for you there.
We appreciate your assistance.
We're here for your education and edification. But
it's good.
It's very delicious. It's a unique flavor, something to kind of get used to.
And guess what?
Yes.
We tasted the first time in a dessert in Mexico City.
Yes. That dessert in Mexico City, I don't remember the name of the restaurant.
It was bomb delicious.
It was.
Yep.
When I remember the name of it, ask me in the comments what the name of it is. I'll remind you, and I'll put a link in there.
Yeah.
It was in downtown Mexico City where all the shopping and stuff is.
I want to say it was like Azul's in the name.
Yeah,
restaurant.
There's an Azul in the name. There's a famous chef that kind of runs it. But
it was so good. But see, for me, that's part of the immersion.
Yes.
Go to restaurants that are not big box. Especially when you're, traveling around the world, you are going to find traditional Western big box restaurants, right?
Like we went to Guanajuato City and there was an Applebee's there.
Right.
I'm not going to the Applebee's.
Right. Applebee's, there's KFC's, a lot
Burger
of the
King, McDonald's, Pizza
Right.
Hut, Domino's.
And it's okay if you get a, hankering, a Jones for a leg,
Yeah.
But as far as like your normal day to day, and I even do that at home. If I go to a new city, I'm in the States, I'm not going to Chick-fil-A. No, there's no beef with Chick-fil-A. I want to go where the locals go.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to get immersed in the culture. And so for me, it's just really important.
Yeah.
And so we went to that special restaurant, found that dessert. Yeah, we ordered dessert. And then it's like, what is this made of? And then we come back home at the market. I don't know if it's the fruiteria or the La Comer. And there was the fruit. Like, we got to taste the fruit.
Yep.
Get home. And we've been sold and hooked ever since.
Yeah.
We
And
come home,
it's even sparked conversations. Like I was at the fruiteria and I'm asking her, though, does she have mame? And another guy's like, you know mame? Like, yeah, I know mame.
Yeah.
I'm cultured. I know what's going on.
Right.
I'm,
Like,
I'm a local. I'm a local now.
Right. You know more about our culture. That's it, too.
Yeah.
That's it.
They appreciate that you learn and you dig into their culture.
Yeah.
Because why are you here if you're not?
Right.
You
If
might as
just
well go
stuck
back
on
to where you
bananas.
was. Go back to Kansas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And speaking of bananas, last week we went to the fruiteria.
Yeah.
Got my green juice. Had to get my green juice, y'all. And we got a couple other things, but we left our bunch of bananas, right?
And about your green juice,
Yes.
you're getting to the point of when you go in there and get your green juice, she would go get the straw for you, but she let her go under the little tablecloth under the table and grab her own straw.
With my own
She's now trusted with the popotes now.
That's popote.
Popote, not pepita, right?
Back to the first thing. We need to go back and learn the language. Oh my God.
Yeah. Pepita and popote, two different things.
Two different things.
Your pepitas get caught in the popote when you're trying to suck it up. I don't know why you would have pumpkin seeds in your drink, but you never know. Maybe it's an indigenous thing.
I'm so sorry, Spanish.
But I'm sorry to interrupt your story, but
yeah, but part of becoming, immersed in the culture, but that would have never happened at the grocery store. Not at the city market, not at the La Comer. So we go down to our fruiteria that's on Cinco de Mayo. And we get our couple little goods, and I get my green juice that's delicious. And we forgot your bananas. Then I want to say 2 days later, we go back in for a green juice. Yeah, I'm becoming predictable. And so she goes, "Oh, you guys forgot your bananas." We're like, "Huh?" But they're special bananas. What are they called?
they're
Domingas? Or
Dominicas. They're Dominican bananas, little small ones. They're concentrated banana flavor. They're so delicious.
They're really good, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, "You forgot your Dominicas," and I didn't know what that was, but you knew. I think
didn't
it took
know
you a
at
second
first.
to
I just
catch
said,
on,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then she goes under the table, under the cash register, and goes, boop. And we're like, we did forget our bananas. We totally
forgot.
Went over our heads.
Yeah.
But that would not have happened if we were not immersed into our community.
Yeah.
And she knew who we were. She knew exactly who. And she's like, they're going to be back this week.
Yep.
And I got their stuff.
I got their bananas.
What? So that's a small but big example.
Yeah,
right?
and it makes me think about, all the times I was in the U.S. and, a lot of the Hispanics or even immigrant communities in general are invisible to us. We don't get the chance to interact. We don't see them because of language barriers, cultural barriers. But it's really important to make sure that you are known, you are visible, so that when you need help, when you need assistance, somebody reaches out to you. When you can help someone else, you have the ability to do that.
Yep.
So that you can make a new friend, so that you can actually be part of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And not come down here like I'm sure plenty of people do, and after a while you're homesick and you're like, oh, I miss everybody back home. But you actually have something built here that keeps you here and keeps you engaged. We go through the Facebook groups and we engage with people there. There's different events and concerts we get into. We have a friend who's a singer, so she's always putting on stuff. So we go see her, Danielle. Shout out to our family Exodus. Check them out, Instagram, YouTube, all those places.
Yep.
So, it's really about how do you kind of build that community here that's going to be able to support you, that you can support on you as well.
Yeah.
And what's going to keep you here and keep you engaged in this community. as you're trying to get away from the nonsense back home.
Right. And remember I told you, I told Chris the other day when I was getting my nails done, shout out to my fabulous little nail friend technician, Anita. She's so sweet, and she happens to be bilingual. She used to live in the States for a little while, and we're going to be moving to her neighborhood. Remember I told you that? And so we're going to be moving, into her hood, and she's like, when y'all get over here, I'll take you around. I'm going to take you to my butcher. I'm going to take you to the lady who sells the clothes, in her little boutique shop. I'm going to take you to the fruit stand. So I'll introduce you to the neighborhood. So now you won't get gringoed, right?
Now you got the hookup. Now they know who you are. That's your sign.
Anita's
friend. They're down now. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you get some appreciation around the neighborhood just by who you know, and them introducing you to people that they know. So you get that little bit of inside track, which is always incredible.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to end this episode without talking about one of our favorite local restaurants, Ancestro. Very different than a big box restaurant. It's not, common. It is indigenous Yucatan food, and they have my wife's favorite beverage. And when we come up, they know that's what she's going to get. They call it saka, but it's horchata, but it's made with corn masa instead of rice.
Correct.
And it is
muy
silky, luxurious, sweet, and delicious. And you can go there just for that if you want to.
Yeah, you really could.
But you would be missing out on all of the other delicious foods. I mean, just the basic tacos, your capuchino, your bistec, your pastor. Like they have all that, but it's just so much better than your regular taqueria. And then they have things
because the
like,
ingredients are indigenous. Not only is it indigenous, but they also do everything homemade and indigenous
they're in
ways.
there grinding corn, making their tortillas from scratch.
Correct.
Which is ridiculous. And like that's a place that we go where they know our names when we come in.
They know us.
And it feels like home, right? That feeling of, hey, I know somebody here. They know me. They appreciate me. There's a lady I go and buy sausage from, and the andouille that I love from Galvani. And every other week they have andouille, and I always come on the off week, and I want that andouille. So after 3 or 4 times of coming at the wrong time and asking for it, I walked up to her a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I know why you're here. I didn't have to open my mouth." And she gave me a hug. Was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. When you come back,
wait a minute, back up. She gave you a what?
Don't worry about that part. It was just one of them side hugs around the shoulders. Don't worry about that."
She touched your shoulder.
She sure did. And she's gonna save me some sausage next time I come over there. Thank you. It's about making friends.
Friendly.
No longer a foreigner. A friend.
Comment.
I'm now visible.
But it happens. I've got hugs too.
Whatever. Them little hot to trot taxi drivers trying to get in your drawers. Nope.
Lord, no. Plain and simple, guys. We have to do our part to get immersed into our communities. No matter what your zip code is, right? No matter what country you live in. Be brave. Get uncomfortable. Go out. Whether it's a local restaurant, a local grocery store, a dance class, a language class. Get out of your neighborhood and go meet some people. Right?
And stay in the house and like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Watch another video.
Yeah. Where are you hailing from? We want to keep up with you guys.
Leave a comment. Let us know what you're doing, where you are to get immersed in your community. If you're here in San Miguel, if you're in Puerto Vallarta, if you're in Merida, if you're in Topeka, Kansas, if you're in Oakland, California, whatever. What are you doing to kind of get to know people and make yourself visible?
Yeah.
So on that note, we will see you guys next time.
Cuidate.
Cuidate.
It's my word. I say that. You don't say that. Come with your own stuff. Don't be stealing. Cuidate. You guys be safe.
Be safe, guys. Cuidate.